All right. So we are back one more time. Yep. Episode 19, right, Stephen? So
19.
we are just humming along, as they
Wow.
say. And let me start. I won't have a rant other than just some comments. So we're recording this in early July, so before the 4th. Um, and so I haven't purchased fireworks in a number of years. And there was a couple places I noticed the other day. So I go, I'll go by there and just check out the goods.
Keep talking.
They
I forgot something real quick.
they have product. It's called like artillery. So you could buy like mortar shells, and they didn't have like M80s by name, but I'm pretty sure they they had those as well. Half sticks of dynamite, you could probably get those if they
I wouldn't be
change a few different
surprised.
colors. So yeah, it was pretty wild. And you go through and I'm looking at these. It's like, well, okay, one box, it looks like a case of beer. It'll shoot like 60 fireworks, you
They
know.
call those cakes, believe it or not.
Yes, there we go. A keg, yeah, or cakes.
Cake,
Cake.
CAKE.
Okay.
And they're cool.
Yeah, and so I was looking at those. I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm not a dog owner, but I'm considerate. So I don't want to have crazy stuff going off, even though people will, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just thinking also, it's like, well, do I want this stuff all over my street? Probably not. And
No.
then if I go behind the house, we have this open space. But in many parts of the country, we're in the South. It's been kind of dry. It was like
Yeah.
104 yesterday. So do I want to have like a tinderbox sitting behind me? No. So, I went through the big selection and looked at everything, and then we went ahead and settled on some sparklers for the granddaughter. She's 4, but we're careful with them.
Of
And then
course.
a few other items that we feel are you're not trying to, at least the appearance of starting a war with rockets flying all over the place. Now, will there be neighbors? There was this guy down the street that went out to this open area last year, and it was mostly like dirt. So there really wasn't anything that you had to worry about. But now there's natural grass, natural weeds, there's certain things that I think they sell you on that are indigenous to the South. Yeah. Again, I don't know if he goes out there, maybe he brings like a bucket, maybe I'll pull my water hose out to the edge of the property
Ooh,
and just be
not a
or
bad
maybe
idea.
maybe I need that too. Who knows? But anyway, it was kind of wild just to go through. I had not
Don't do
been
that in the
through.
street.
No, what the break
The
out your
hose pull,
hose?
hose pulling.
Yeah, yeah, not on the street. You don't want it to get run over by a car. So anyway, I thought I'd start with that. It's kind of seasonal where, I remember going back you know, to the olden days, like you couldn't buy, and there was like stacks and stacks of firecrackers.
Yeah.
I remember having to buy those in Mexico when I lived in Southern California.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting just to kind of peruse and it's like, again, do you want to spend, $500 for a box that's probably going to last you 4 minutes? Just one firework, a cake,
Yeah.
as Stephen educated me on. So I didn't do that, but we'll just see how tomorrow night goes with the neighborhood. So if you hear a little body count and there goes the neighborhood, there's some
Well, this
craziness
is
with
your
fireworks
first
going
Fourth
on.
of July there, of course. So you'll have to.
Second
Oh, is
one.
it really? Oh
Yeah.
shit! Damn,
Second.
you've been there that
Yeah.
long already?
Yeah. 2 years.
Holy fuck!
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I must
So
have slept.
yeah, that's all right. So here we go.
Yeah. Cheers. So if speaking of Fourth of July, in the city of Cyprus, which you know of, and borderline of us is either Buena Park or Stanton.
Yes.
So if I cross the street, I can buy fireworks
Right.
and light them off. but I can't bring them back here and light them off. Not that I mean, I like fireworks. Don't get me wrong. Guys like to light things on fire and blow shit up.
Yeah.
But
Fire,
um, but you know, the amount of people that light off all the illegal stuff around here, you don't really need. I mean, it's again, I like to set them off. It's just there's just something a joy about lighting something on fire.
Yeah.
But there's so much going on. Cypress College is going to have one tomorrow
Mhm.
night. They did one the other night, so they blow up right over the house, and you
Right.
know, it's like I'm good. You know.
Yeah,
I'd just rather
definitely
watch.
out here. So where we're at, we're south of Nashville, kind of in a kind of a rural area. So there's a lot of open space, and there's some hills yonder, and there's obviously neighborhoods, and so depending on, you know, if it's clear enough, you can see probably 4 different, you know, actual shows going on in different
Right.
places. So it's pretty cool, right? To be able to check that out. So yeah,
Yeah,
because
very
we weren't this actually will be our first fireworks 4th of July, like being home here, because we were over at my daughter's house last year. So yeah, I guess technically, you know.
That's what I was referring
Yeah.
to. Is you're in your new house.
Yes, yeah. So you are correct. Yeah, I have no idea where I'm at or how long I've been somewhere, but yes.
That's okay. So it must be your muddied microphone.
Yeah. Is it much better though?
It sounds great.
Very good. Yeah. That was something else. So another topic I wanted to bring up was social media.
Ugh.
And you know, the good and bad and somewhere in between, but this is more a matter of it's crazy. You know, everyone has heard the term going viral. So I'm not, and we're not current users of TikTok, but I'm
No.
thinking maybe we might want to do that for our show and for other things, just because is it better than Instagram? I don't know. Better's relative. Does it get more views for our little snippets and, you know, bite size pieces of fun that we put out than YouTube? It might be, right? So anyway, and under the topic of going viral. So my daughter's an active user of TikTok, and she'd post, you know, like things she makes and just different things going on with the day. And the way it's kind of organized, it's kind of cool, right? You can kind of catch up and on what's going on. Sure, there's probably Hawk 2 and all that stuff going on as well that we can just ignore. But she put a post out not even maybe 20 hours ago, maybe 21. And the topic was rating. Okay, she did a rating of 10 different things her daughter, my granddaughter, said. And I won't read you all of them, but she has some, and I won't get too close with this, but you know, just some pictures and all that. And you know, she put it out there just for her friends, right? So first one is she's eating some donuts, and you know, and one of the comments is, oh no, I'll just read this one. I thought it was funny. So here's after there's like, you can kind of create like 10 pictures or 5 or whatever. And then she's put the same. So this is stuff that my granddaughter, no names mentioned, actually said.
Please.
I'm going to join the military tomorrow.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Yes. Another one.
That's funny.
Stella, who's she has 2 dogs. She has Stella, who is a boxer, loves Stella. And then Charlotte, who is a Australian sheepdog who was a rescue.
Awesome.
And they think she's like 2 because they've had her about 2 years, and she was a little scrawny, scraggly dog, but she's great. But in the other comment was, Stella, I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich, when she barked on a walk.
That's
hilarious. Because she heard it, so she repeated it, and she's 4. And then the last
so awesome.
one, they're in line at a McDonald's, just getting the soda. So whatever, you know, the dollar soda, and from the back seat, Mom, do you need money for that? I don't think you have enough. When she was paying for a drink at McDonald's, because then earlier, Taylor, my daughter, gives a little explanation, some context. She goes, because earlier I told her when they were at the candy store that I didn't have any money. So now when I go to get a drink,
Oh,
you
see, they
remember that.
remember.
Yeah.
They remember everything.
So, fun stuff just for the family. And I'm not now I'm going to download TikTok and I'll probably be hooked. But 21
I
hours ago,
I
when I
deleted
posted
it.
it.
I
Yeah.
had it and I deleted it.
Yeah. 'Cause it can take up hours. Okay. So talk about hours. Talk about people. All right.
Hmm,
It doesn't matter how many people follow her and how many followers she has.
no.
It's decent. This one post in 21 hours. Just you want to take a stab at how many plays it's had.
Oh, I'm gonna go 20,000.
Good guess. That's like we're static, when we had like 12,000, right? On one of our thing or
Yeah.
15,000. I'm like, well, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
21 hours, 953,000.
Holy.
Yeah. And likes 72,000 likes. 900 954,000 now. So it keeps going up. It's going to get to 1 million. And
Because
so,
it's classic and funny, and people see that and they think adorable kids and
right.
the shit that they say that where the hell did that just pop out of?
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean,
And that's it.
That's amazing.
It is. And so when you talk about it, and again, the good side. So this is just something fun and lighthearted that you put out there, and
Sure.
people can relate to it. There's always going to be haters, right? There's always going to
Of
be,
course.
oh, well, that doesn't sound like a very good kid, or whatever. I didn't scroll
Whatever.
through more than like 10 comments, but it's like F off. It's like,
Yeah.
they're just having lighthearted fun. Or not exposing, locations, addresses, names. And
No.
again, if people know who she is, which she has, plenty of friends, then it's out there. But again, that was the whole intent. It was to put something, fun and lighthearted out there. But
Exactly. Silly, lighthearted stuff.
it's wild that, and now it's 956,000. So going viral, right? How does it work? And we're not going to do a whole show on this, so don't turn off, guys, and gals. But it's who knows, right? We post stuff all the time, and if we get 400 views or whatever, it's like, all right, this is
Cool.
great. And who knows? And that was kind of a lot of her other stuff had as well. But since that people saw that, then they went to another post, and there's like 13,000 on that. So it's like, all right. Again, who knows why? Obviously, there's people that specialize in social media, right? And branding experts, and some of it is probably BS where they say, buy my program for $9.99 and I'll show you how to take over the internet. Who knows? Who knows?
Be a
But
billionaire in 9 weeks.
yes. But I think sometimes, yeah, it's just more a matter of you have something cute, you have something fun, and people see it and they kind of appreciate it and move on. So we're really no point to that other than just observation of how wild, a single post can be.
Well,
And
maybe the talking show might garner some views via TikTok.
maybe so, right? I'm gonna give them a shirt to wear anytime they post stuff in the future.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll give you $50 to wear this. But yeah, so in that, would we use TikTok? And you know what? I'm gonna experiment with TikTok.
Well, I'll re-download it then and let's see what happens.
And so we'll put like, the reels and the shorts that go out now. Gives one more thing, and we'll just see if that gives you, does it broaden the horizon? Does it broaden the audience? Just this past weekend, we're now on 99WNRR.com.
Yep.
So, it's going to be on every Sunday. You can check out. It's a show that we already did. Would we ever jump on live and do something? We very well could, but we'll leave you wanting more. But again, it's ultimately what we've talked about, and we'll get into our topic in a moment, which will be kind of going through the best metal song each year since 1970.
And this is produced by Loudwire.
Yes.
FYI.
So
I don't know
again,
if we're
before
gonna
you
get
go,
monetized for that.
crapping down our throat. Oh my God, I can't believe you picked that. It's we're, yeah, it's Loudwire. So, permission, can we just refer to an article that you wrote? It's pretty extensive, obviously, you go, what is that? 54 years if it takes it up to modern times. Let's
Crazy.
see if there's 54. So anyway, the internet going viral. It's wild. Who knows why? If we knew exactly why, if we knew the right formula, we'd be sitting in Marrakesh drinking Cosmos. I don't know. Is that
Or
what we
yeah,
want to do?
gold with gold frilly stuff on the top.
Yes. Yeah. So
Whatever that means.
in that, I know. So Stephen, before we jump in, do you have any tales of woe or wow from the internet or from anything that has kind of passed your view this week?
I am a YouTube uh aficionado. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
I love YouTube, and and we talk about the internet and things going viral, and then we have to bring in that lovely word algorithm,
Yes.
because you see one thing and it says, well, if you like that, then you might like this. And I'll be like, yeah, I like that. And then it says, if you like that, then you might like this. And then I like that. So I've actually found some really interesting two Australian guys that's called Back to Basics, and they simulate being stranded on stories of things like being stranded on an island for 3 days and how do they survival tactics of finding food and water and shelter.
Huh.
And I found it really interesting. But some of the stuff that I really like is that a lot of them have some really good metal tunes behind it. And that kind of brings me to like, oh, okay, hey, we all kind of connect to music.
Yeah.
Right. When you hear music, when you're watching something, and we still have yet to do a movie show, but like soundtracks, you could watch a scene from a movie without music and you're just watching it. But when you put the music to it, it brings us emotion, whether it's sad, happy, suspenseful, comical. And so I really believe in that the music and our passion for music brings it to a full circle of music is everywhere and music is a part of everything. And that's kind of one of the things that I like about YouTube, is because it brings me to bands that I've never heard of. It brings me to old stuff that I've never seen. It brings me to shorts of Metallica, and to see James Hetfield from back in the early 80s, and that hard driving anger, and now he's just smiling and laughing and having a good time. Which is totally cool, because the songs still have the same drive. They virtually sound pretty much exactly the same. They haven't tuned down or tuned up to pitch the voice. And so just the music genre, and which kind of brings me to what I thought you and I were discussing, different topics that we want to talk about, different lists. And I just, after I put in we talked about 89, this thing popped up afterwards. And I thought, oh, hey, well, that's kind of interesting to see from 1970. I mean, I was 3 in 1970. Oh, I just told my age.
Yeah. And I was, depending on when these came out, I did not exist yet. So
it's okay. Yeah. You were a gleam in your father's eye.
Yes, I was. So we're going to do this. And one of the things, this is not a paid advertiser, though maybe eventually somebody will be, but Zoom. So we record on Zoom. So if you're marveled at our recording technique and prowess and what we put out there, it's just Zoom. But Zoom Workplace. So I always love that right before you get on, you click on it, then it wants to download and update. So it actually, in this case, did it pretty quickly. And the interface, at least from where I'm at, as far as like the user, is good. And one of the things which we always start looking at the clock is there's a countdown timer. So that's good.
That's good.
So,
Instead of just
because
shutting off right in the middle.
yeah, because we don't want it, and that's never happened, right? Just a few
No.
times where we're talking. And so anyway, we're gonna talk about, and then it
Yeah.
just goes. So with this, we have 5 minutes. And so we're just gonna kind of stretch our intro topic out a little bit and then be able to go into which will then be episode 20, right? So we're teasing the hell out of this, but I want to kind of hit on a couple things so we don't bury the lead, and maybe we just build the excitement for everybody else. Or maybe we just make this one big giant episode, right? Do you want to supersize it this time? We might just do that.
Why not?
So in that, the best metal song of each year in the 70s, and it's kind of interesting because there's probably some debate as far as, well, when did metal actually start, right? What was it even active in 70? Who was the first band, right? You've heard Blue Cheer, which was what, mid 60s. You've heard Zeppelin, Sabbath, which is prominently displayed throughout this list. I think at this point there's very little, I'll just put it out there, I think there's very little argument that Sabbath really can't be identified as kind of the gateway for metal, right? Just really establishing it. Just the Tony Iommi and the sound and just the sludge and all that just launched a whole generation. And just thinking about it, like Black Sabbath, we'll start off with this one. That's the best metal song of 1970. I know we're going to go into this more next episode, but basically, when you look at that, that 3-note guitar riff, or as it's called in the start of the Black Sabbath song, they've even named it Diablos in Musica, or the Devil's Interval. So it's like, wow. And it is like, it's eerie. Like, in many years since then, on the anniversary, there post pictures of that house, like that barn, right? And it's still there. I think it's still there. But if you were in a record store in 1970 and you walked by this and you saw like this witch figure on the cover,
it is creepy looking.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what to think. And then when you turn it on, it's basically a horror film in the shape of music, right? And so it's pretty wild. So in all that, and one of the lyrics in there is, at the end, my friend, Satan's coming round the bend, people running because they're scared, the people better go and beware. That's some pretty good lyrics, right? Like Sabbath, just like song wise. We'll get into some other records on the next episode. I still have, up until the Ian Gillan with Born Again, I had every single one of those on vinyl. So all the old Sabbath ones, and I didn't buy them like when they came out, but I went back probably when I was 12, 13, 14, and there was this guy in the neighborhood that collected vinyl probably from 1960, that if he had extras, he would just give them to you. Like,
nice.
That's where I got Deep Purple records, which will be on this list, I'm sure, featured pretty prominently. Gave me some, old Sabbath ones. I think that's where I got Black Sabbath. It was like an original print. And so it's just like, wow. And so you got to kind of get into that and really understand what it was. I know in past episodes we talked about, what really got us into music and into metal. And, I will say, and I had to think about this a little bit, it's like, could I have heard Sabbath or anything before I heard Van Halen for the first time, and before I heard Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio? Maybe, but it didn't like really sink in. But when you circle back around, and that's when you pick up. So with that, that's our tease kind of going into our topic. Can you believe our time flew by already, Stephen?
That goes by fast.
So this is episode 19. Stay tuned for 20, when we're going to break down. And I think if I shut up, we'll actually make it through the 53 or 54 years of songs. So as always, Stephen, appreciate you making the time. We will be back next week. Be sure to check us out on 99WNRR.com, 7 p.m. on Sundays. Mondays, new shows drop on Spotify, YouTube. We're up all the time. And you know what? I think, yeah, Instagram as well. You'll see something coming on TikTok. So we're everywhere. You know, will we go viral? Who knows? But until next time, until next week, take care, guys. See ya.
Oh, it didn't go off yet.